Hey everybody, it's Tyler from Gaia Force Gaming, and I have a gameplay video for you guys from our locals at Cool Comics and Games in Cape Coral, Florida. This is the night of release for EX05. We already got some product. On the left is Gavin playing GraceNovamon, and on the right is Eric playing Devas. So here, Eric starts out. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look up some of these cards. Eric starts out with one of the level 5 Devas, which lets him put a Deva that hasn't been named in his raising area. That is, I believe, Pajiramon? Yeah. On deletion, if your opponent has a memory, if your opponent has a tamer, you gain a memory, and then the inherited effect gives a sec +1, I believe, for that one. I could be wrong. There's a lot of new cards to learn. So over on Gavin's side, he's starting to go up his line. Essentially, the Grace Nova deck is going to be trying to DNA into the big Grace Nova stack that has a ton of protection and can do a bunch of checks. And the Deva decks have a bunch of aces that Juquimon, however you pronounce it, Blast DNA Digivolve, or Blast Digivolves, and then it can delete something with Deva in its traits or one of any Digimon with 6k or less to get sec +1, and then when it dies, it kills the highest DP. The Azulongmon there. What does it bounce? It bounces something. On play and when digivolving, you can return a level 5 to hand, then unsuspend one of your Deva, 4 Great Dragons, etc. So the Deva deck really does kind of play like one of those non-linear EX decks that we've seen in the past. You know, we have Mother, we have just decks that kind of Royal Nice decks that utilize the game mechanics in a different way than what we're used to. Whereas the Grace Nova deck does a lot of shenanigans where it takes the top Digimon card, makes it a source, and then digivolves for free or for a slight advantage just to build up a huge stack. It goes into that Dianamon, which has a very Hexplow type floodgate effect where for the next turn, nothing without sources can suspend. It doesn't stop attacking, it just stops suspending. So if you have things that can attack without suspending, you kind of get around that. So actually, Hunters might be pretty good into the Grace Nova deck. But again, we just got some players trying out new things. Both of these decks seem fairly intriguing, pretty popular in terms of people thinking about how to build them and play them. And you know, we got some good players, and these are some pretty decent builds, at least for day one builds. And yeah, we do see that Flaremon come down. Flaremon. I think that's a Flaremon. Could be wrong. What's the level 4? Is that called something else? Phyramon. You knew it. I got it. Which is the level 4s are searchers in the Grace Nova line. I will say all of the red ones give you plus bonuses on your turn. All the blue ones give you plus bonuses on your opponent's turn. You usually play the red eggs. The red tamers do seem a lot more important than the blue tamers, so you might want to run a higher ratio of those. Okay, new card, Ebonwumon Ace. Looks like it just won him the game for game 1. But the Ebonwumon Ace, what does that do? Where are we at? It suspends for each of your Deva or 4 Sovereigns. You suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then it Puppetmons them, so they can't unsuspend during their next unsuspend phase, and that's whether you suspended it or not. Going into game 2, try and pay more attention to the game this time, not just be reading cards. Does open with the monkey. The monkey is a decent one to open with. It doesn't let 2-cost tamers suspend. So, I mean, in very fringe situations, it could come up as a floodgate. On Gavin's side, he is going to do a couple searches between his training boosts and his Digimon. Excuse me. The Deva deck does just kind of give over a bunch of memory. and then just try to value out security. Can also play a very control-y game. The option there are two options that Davis can play. That's the loyalty deeper than the sea. You can ignore the color requirements if you have a Dama or 4 sovereigns on board, and then it reveals 3. You can place 1 card with Deva 4 sovereigns to the bottom of your digi cards, or add it to your hand. And then the other one plays the Fanglongmon for free, essentially. And that's the Holy Beast Great Cardinal Positions. Gavin there does play the red option, which kills the lowest DP and then cycles back a Grace Nova card, essentially. Just a bunch of keywords that are synergistic with Grace Nova. And then, like I was saying, the red tamer is a bit more important because it's during your main, you could spend it to put the top card at the bottom and then digivolve without paying the cost. But the blue one comes up as well because during your opponent's turn, it lets you spit out Digimon with the same level, which facilitates DNA digivolving during your opponent's turn. That's also part of the infinite loop combo that got announced to be the banned pairs. And right there we do see the, oh man, what's that guy's name? The Tiger Boy. The Baihumon. Ace. That never seems to work out for Eric. He played a... I do have a couple more games from him. This run, I think, he ended up being recorded most of the games I recorded. And it just, every time he dropped the Bahui, he would never hit a Deva off security, which would be a free play. He just always hit either a 4 sovereigns or an option or an analog youth, just something that just didn't give the payoff. Yeah, the bird's pretty good. The bird Deva there, because it does have decoy for both Deva and 4 great sovereigns. I'm definitely glad that people at my locals are playing these 2 new decks that are like completely new archetypes, because I would not encounter them in great numbers for sure before Nats, and I don't want to get blown out by just not knowing it enough. So it's definitely nice to see some of this gameplay, and also just to be able to have my locals as a utility to practice and playtest. So here we see Gavin starting to do the Grace Nova thing. He's already got that Apollomon, which does gain Blitz. He gets security +1 for every 3 sources, and when he takes a security, he pops something with less DP than him on the once per turn. That's kind of your like first heavy hitter, and then the idea is you evolve into the Dianamon, go into the Apollo with the Tamer afterwards, so now they can't attack back. You spit out the Diana, you DNA Digivolve into the Grace Nova on their turn, and then blow up their thing. You got a big blocker, they can't attack. It's just a bunch going on, but here Eric's doing his thing where he plays that option, reduces it by a bunch to play out the Fanglong for very reduced cost. I guess the option is reduced cost. The Fanglong is free from the option, so it does get around Psychmon, I believe, because Psychmon doesn't stop you from reducing option costs. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's decent into the fact that we're going into a meta with Psychmon going to be run rampant. It just seems like the Grace Nova deck cannot establish a board presence here. The mid-range / controlling nature of the Deva seems to be doing pretty good. Fangling also does trash security for every let me not miscommunicate it. He's got a wall of text. It's not affected by Digimon effects. And then for each Digimon with 4 sovereigns, not the Deva, just 4 sovereigns. This Deva would be pretty busted. Here Gavin's gonna start climbing. You want to use the effect, and then Eric remind him that he's unaffected by Digimon effects, is what it looked like. So here he's got to swing over, but he's going to blast Digivolve, raise up, swing, and then swing for game. Alright, well there's some new gameplay. Sorry, as I familiarize myself with the cards, I'm going to become a little bit more present. So hopefully you guys can see that in real time as I do more videos. I just want to get some gameplay out for you guys before Nats. Like I said, I'm going to try and build up a queue. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.